It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about draft time, baby, where we cover all 32 NFL teams, their draft needs, players that would, help them win, something like that. And also we give you our top 10 from each position group in the 2023 NFL Draft. And today, we're doing our top 10 from for the wide receiver group, And I'm excited for this group. I think that despite the fact I think there are probably only going to be 3 or 4 guys that go in the first round, I still think that there's a ton of talent that teams can target in the later rounds, and we'll get into really some of these guys in just a second. But, like I said, this is the kind of time of the year where it is where we cover all of this. And if there's something specific you want us to cover, let us know in the comment section down below, and we'll get into all that a little bit later. But here we go, the top 10. So Quentin Johnston. I love Quentin Johnston. He's a guy that is tall, he's big, he's lanky. Use any of those synonyms that you want to use for him, or acronyms, or whatever. Even though I went to word school, it's not the best. But Quentin Johnston is that dude. He had 60 catches for 1,069 yards and 6 touchdowns for the Horned Frogs last year. Him and Max Duggan were getting it done. I think he's a guy that, honestly, the best of his upside is still yet to come. He's got sneaky yak ability, or yards after catch, and I think he's got the biggest upside in the entire NFL draft. So I think just coupled with his size, his speed, I think that he could be a guy that really does take over games, and it's going to be something very interesting. So, and then Jalin Hyatt coming up out of Tennessee, 67 catches for over 1,260 yards last year, 15 touchdowns. Jalin Hyatt is arguably the best, and he's arguably the best deep threat in this draft. He consistently beats double teams, just a speedster, and just gets behind the defense. He's going to continue to honestly be a big factor in the passing game. Almost 20 yards a catch this year? Yes, he's an absolute stud. He definitely needs to be in that discussion for being in that first round. Then the third wide receiver in the 2023 NFL Draft is Jackson Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State. Now, here's the thing about JSN, if you will. Coming up out of Ohio State, only played in 3 games, but he had 5 catches for 43 yards. Not great. I will extend the olive branch there. But the biggest thing about JSN is the fact that last year, when they had all those guys like Garrett Wilson and company, as well, it was one of those things where he still put up 95 catches for over 1,600 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's an absolute stud. I think he's one of those guys that, again, he's got a lot of upside if he can get healthy. And honestly, it might help out some NFL teams that he falls, because I think if he's healthy, he's at least in the conversation for being the number 1 overall, or the number 1 wide receiver, Number 1 overall pick is a little bit of a stretch, but I think he's the most complete NFL-ready wide receiver in this draft class. He has great hands, he runs great routes, and he consistently he's going to be that security blanket for his respective quarterback in the NFL. Then there's Jordan Addison, formerly of Pitt and then of USC. Great hands, he's shifty, he's got great body control, and he's a big play guy. I think he's honestly going to be one of those guys that, even though he probably might go in the later end of the first round, I think he's going to be a guy that surprises a lot of people. Had 59 catches for 875 yards and 8 touchdowns for the Trojans last year. I think he's going to be a guy to watch as well. The number 5 wide receiver, Josh Downs out of North Carolina. He had 94 catches for over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. I love me some Josh Downs. Josh Downs is a guy that he's a speedster. He's got great acceleration. But the thing about him that I love the most is the fact that every play is the Alamo. He plays like every play is his last. You'll see him when he dives out for catches, run blocking, whatever it is. Josh Downs just balls every single day. And then there's Rashee Rice out of SMU. He had 96 catches for 1,355 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. Rashee Rice, there's a lot of tools to work with. He's go up and get a guy, big play machine. I think that I would like to see him kind of refine some of his intermediate route running skills. I think that's something that NFL coaching can help him out with. But he's a guy that you're probably going to get in the 2nd to 4th round, and I think he might take him a year or two, but he could definitely be a starter in the NFL. Marvin Mims Jr. He is a guy I'm really excited about. Coming up out of Oklahoma, had 54 catches, 1,083 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Him and Jalin Hyatt are the 2 best field stretching wide receivers in this draft, if you ask me. Obviously Nathaniel Dell is amazing, but we'll get into him in just a second. Tank, that's right. So Marvin Mims Jr., though, he's a guy that, quite honestly, I think his best attributes are the fact that he's a field stretcher. He wins in the phone booth, he wins in double coverage, and he's also brings in some punt return availability and ability. So I think that he is a guy that can do a lot of different things for the respective NFL team, and I think he can be fun to watch, and that's just what you really want out of your wide receivers. Nathaniel Tank Dell coming up out of Houston, 109 catches for over 1,300, nearly 1,400 1,300 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. I love me some Tank Dell. He is a guy that has great acceleration. He explodes on tape, and he finds the end zone. And what I mean by that is a lot of these times you'll see these some of these college wide receivers, they don't make a lot of moves. It's almost like he doesn't stop until he's in the end zone, and you love to see it. Also a guy that can return some punts for you. And then there's Zay Flowers, who, in my mind, Zay Flowers is a guy that probably, will go in the later rounds, but he shouldn't. Like, coming up out of Boston College, he had 78 catches for over 1,000 yards this last year, as well as 12 touchdowns. I really like his ability to track the ball. I think he probably tracks the ball just about as good as anybody in this draft. Great speed and acceleration, and I think he can be a spark when that offense needs it. I think he's going to come in and probably be a guy that catches 20 to 40 passes in his rookie year, a couple of touchdowns, and gives that respective NFL offense a spark. And I also think he gives you also a punt return ability. And then finally is Xavier Hutchinson. He is out of Iowa State, 107 catches for 1,171 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. Another one-on-one winning machine. He wins in the phone booths, and I think he's strong over the middle. I don't think he's a field burner. I don't think he's a guy that you can throw out a screen pass and he's going to get 25, 30 yards because really turn it into first downs consistently. But I think he's a guy that you still have to respect. I would argue that he is going to be a later round pick, but he can still bring some stuff for you coming up out of Iowa State. So, but that's it. Those are our top 10 2023 NFL Draft wide receiver prospects. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our top 10 wide receiver draft picks, or prospects, from the 2023 NFL Draft.